So let's dig in.
Yeah, let's dig in. Well, it's interesting. I love how I started this article. It's the Harvard Business School teaches that, like death and taxes, commoditization of your product is a given. And that is true. When you look at the global economy that we have, there's a heck of a lot of competition out there, right? And so as a result, what happens is a lot of businesses get caught really off guard by the fact, and we're not just talking products, we're talking services too,
yes.
Get caught off guard by being viewed as a commodity, and they don't even, in some cases, realize that's what's happened. And when I presented this as a keynote speech, I had a room. It was a small group of small business owners, small to mid-sized business owners, and I identified the four reasons that the commodity mindset occurs, and I just asked people to raise their hand if this applied to them. By the time I got through these four, every single person had raised their hand at least once. So they were like really depressed, right? They were super depressed. And I said, but wait a minute.
And see, this is why I love you, because they're bullet points. I'm a bullet point person.
Yeah, exactly.
I tell people, small business people are bullet point people, you understand?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, small business people are glancers and then they're readers.
Right. If I like the bullet points, I'll continue to read.
That's exactly right.
So far, I'm liking the article. I see the bullet points at the top. Okay.
Absolutely. So let's go over those reasons, because those are critical. And I hope anyone that's listening, raise your hand or or raise your heart to the fact that you may need to make some changes. So reason number one is the marketplace perception that your offering is pretty much the same as your competitors with no associated differentiation, added value, or uniqueness. So that kind of sucks, doesn't it? If that's what the marketplace thinks about your business.
But they don't think that.
Exactly. And one point to be made in that regard goes back to the CRIS principle research I did that was released in 2004 and then validated in the Great Recession across the country that over 60% of companies with negative or stagnant growth had a brand and what they thought was a unique positioning. The problem was they really didn't.
Right.
They thought they did, but they really didn't. And that's a whole nother discussion. And so, yeah, that's the problem is a lot of people think, oh, this is what makes me different. But then you can go and find the exact same thing from 10 different people.
And here's the reality. I know that about small business. It's one of the reasons why I called you and asked you to do some because I know that sometimes we can't see the forest for the trees.
Exactly.
And so sometimes you just need somebody from the outside to take a look and let you know, Joe, I know you think this is why you're different, but the truth is, this is what and by the way, if you'll do these three things, you'll be really different. Well, and so it just takes somebody from the outside to be able to do that.
Oh, it does. A perfect example of this is that I was working with a company named N.W. Getz, who helped build the Panther Stadium. They were the project managers. They did the Tampa Buccaneers. They did all these different stadiums. And one of the things they took pride in is they were small, lean, very highly productive, very highly efficient. And they took pride in making each of their customers feel like their only customer. The problem with that, they were so dang good at it that when a stadium owner saw that they were already working with someone, even though they loved them and wanted to work with them, they were afraid they couldn't handle it. And so they had to get out there. So what differentiated them was hurting them. And so what they had to do was make it understood as, hey, we can, did you know that while we were working on your stadium, we were working on all these other ones too?
Right.
And then they were like, wow. And it was just a simple matter of making sure, their clients knew why they were so good at what they did and how efficient they were. And yeah, they felt like the only customer, but hey, we were working with a ton of other people at the same time, right?
Right.
So sometimes your differentiation can hurt you too if you don't communicate it properly.
How do you do that? How do you make that communication to an existing client base that presents you a little bit different than they see you as? That's really hard for small business people.
It's hard, but it's not. and that's easy for me to say, right? But
yeah, I mean, you're the expert at it. Right? I'm sure I told you already. You make it look easy. It's not easy.
But really, it does. It gets down to really digging deep into what you're passionate about. So often it's about, why did you start this business to begin with? Most businesses started because they saw something that wasn't being done right, and they could do it better. And so going back to that very core sometimes is what it takes. So let's go back to some of these other reasons. So we got the marketplace perception that your offering isn't unique. So reason number 2, perception that the offering can be obtained easily from a wide variety of suppliers or businesses. So it's not even about, it's like, oh, I can get that anywhere, right? I don't have to worry about even vetting it. It's almost like to the point where you can impulsively buy it because you don't have to worry about it goes even beyond everybody being the same. Reason number 3, pricing becomes the primary focus of competitors' promotion. When you start to see competition focusing on price, and usually they're bigger competitors, that's when you need to start making some major changes, because as a small business, that's just not going to work for you. And then reason number 4, your customer relationships appear to be more transaction-based than relationship-based.
Okay, let's back up.
Yeah.
So you're suggesting if I've got a company and I see my larger competitors starting to put pressure on price,
yes,
I need to be concerned. The products and services in my industry is starting to become a commodity, and I need to rethink what I'm doing.
Yes, when you've got competitors starting to focus on price, when price becomes the emphasis, then commodity is the reality.
Okay, but you're not saying any competitor. You're saying one of the leaders in the industry starts to address price. Okay,
right,
interesting.
Right, exactly.
That's a good point that anybody can see happening before it goes too far.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is, the first reaction is, I got to cut my price. I've got to figure out how to be price competitive. No, you have to figure out how to be value competitive. That's the differentiation there. And, and so one of the things that I like to look at, especially because price is when you really start to see the commodity, aspect of it being raised, unfortunately.
Well, that's where it starts.
Yeah,
right.
That's where it can start. And so what I like to take clients through is 3 different, basically what I call the best value offense. Too many businesses go on defense, and they need to go on offense. And I love sports. I played team sports, and so I'm all about this. I love this mentality.
Oh, I know you're competitive.
Very. And so basically there are 3 things that every business can focus on in their business. And it doesn't matter what kind of business, service, doesn't matter, product, whatever. You can either be best price, best total solutions, or best product or service.